Friday Night Racing.
On Off the Ball.
Brought to you by Horse Racing Ireland. Love every racing moment. Visit hri.ie.
Right, it's essentially Tiger Roll week here on Friday Night Racing, and I'm going to start with the competition before we get into this because it's very relevant. On what could be his final start in Ireland, it says here, Tiger Roll begins its quest for a historic Aintree Grand National 3 in a row. No pressure. In the Grade 2 Ladbrokes Ireland Boyne Hurdle at Navan this Sunday to win a VIP day at Navan Racecourse for you and your guests, which includes admission, race cards and delicious lunch in the restaurant. Tell us who trains Tiger Roll. Text your name and answer to 53106 for 30 cents and we'll get back to it later on today. Now, the reason that it is Tiger Roll week here this week on Friday Night Racing is because we've got Keith Donoghue in. Keith, how are you?
I'm very good, yeah.
No pressure. Just the most famous horse in the world this weekend.
Ah, yeah. Just try to ride him out every day, so
yeah.
I'm used to him.
How is he?
Yeah, he's good, yeah. Obviously, you know, he had a setback and he's probably not as fit as he was going into this race last year, and he hasn't been away from home yet either. But like, he's ready to start off, and you know, it'll be a nice start. I think the ground's going to be heavy, so that probably will be a bit of a disadvantage. But if you just get a nice run into him to leave him right for Cheltenham, would be the main aim.
Yeah, Johnny, how are you?
Grand, yeah. Lucky that Eddie O'Leary, he said he's going to run in the Grand National just
an hour ago.
Would have made the show a bit redundant. But was there any doubt in your mind? Or now, in fairness, this is a point I would make as well. It is dependent on his well-being. Like we haven't seen him. You can't just assume that the horse is going to perform. For a horse that's been on the go since 2013 and performed at that level, he's a complete freak, really, to be as good as he is. But it's all systems going, it seems.
Yeah, it is all systems going. Like, obviously, winning 2 Grand Nationals, it's going to have to take something out of him, but you won't know until you go back to the track, I suppose. And also, like, he still has to qualify for the race as well.
Yeah. I was just writing a piece about him today, and I remember when he won the Triumph Hurdle, and a friend of mine was saying he fancied him for the Champion Hurdle the following year, and he ended up running in the Stayers Hurdle, and he was down the field, but I think he went 6 races unplaced over hurdles, and then he ran the beginner's chase, and you'd never have any idea of what was going to happen. It's like he wouldn't appeal, even like in his early days. What did you think in terms of going over fences? Because like, he's not even really bred or built for it necessarily.
Yeah, no, you wouldn't have thought, like, when he said run over fence during the summer, like, he wasn't a good jumper. He probably still isn't a good jumper of a normal fence, but you know, the cross country and the fences and Aintree suit him. And
why? What's the difference? Like, and how he jumps? What's the?
I don't really know, but like, when you see the way he jumped in the 4 miler with Lisa O'Neill, like, I don't know how he stood up, like how he got around. I honestly don't know. And but then over the cross country fences or the national fences, he's brilliant, and I just think they suit him better.
Right. There's a big give in the national fences that wouldn't have been. I was a Magical Light last year. She literally, it's like a hologram the way she went through a fence. So it's just this massive, like, almost, there's a fake kind of top brush part to it that you can't get through.
Yeah, I suppose the top of them, you know, you can, to a certain extent, you can probably brush through the top of them, and I think that's what suits Tiger Roll.
What's your opinion on that? Because like, I was looking today at the weights of the horses. Like, top weight, a top weight hasn't won it since I think 19.
The cross country.
The Grand National, sorry. Hasn't won the National since 1950, I think. And then there was like a scatter of like 10 stone, 10 stone 4. But the race compared to, say, when you were a kid has completely changed.
Yeah, it's completely changed. Like, this year, like, going out in the last lap in the National, nearly the whole field was there. Like, when you were a kid, you know, going out in the last lap, there'd probably only be half of them left.
Yeah.
So, like, the fences are definitely smaller than they used to be. But I know it's for safety reasons, and they have to do that, you know, to keep everybody happy. And
it was in black and white on the radio when Johnny was a kid, to be honest. No one actually see it on TV.
But you know the way, though, they bet on like how many will fall at the first. Now,
not anymore,
now they still do, and they tend to get it wrong, because I don't know. I've a mixed feeling about it, because I know they did it for the right reasons. They did it in terms of welfare. We had Ger Lyons on here. I think he rode in the race, and it's just a completely different race. It doesn't. Tiger Roll wouldn't have had a hope in the Grand National 20 years ago. Do you know? Because it's just he wouldn't be able to negotiate them fences, because they took so much getting, in my view, anyway.
So you're his work rider, but you're also riding him in races.
Yeah.
When did you graduate from being work rider to race rider?
Well, I never really rode him much until I rode him in Clonmel Isle Chase, say 2018, so it was, and 2017, sorry.
Right.
And he ran bad, and Gordon just said that he's going to send him for the Banks races. So I started kind of schooling him and doing that type of stuff to run him over the banks, and then
the Banks races is the cross country.
The cross country, yeah.
Right. How do you school? Like, because they They don't have those fences in Gordon's Yard, do they?
No, there's a place in Summerhill called Sally Cascadden where we brought him up there. It's like a cross-country place, and jumped him over them, and we also brought him over to Cheltenham a couple of times to school over them as well.
Right. Okay, so obviously they had a sense that there was something in the horse, because you don't go to the expense of bringing a horse to Cheltenham for this race unless you think he's got a chance.
Well, he had plenty of ability. That was the point.
He always had the ability. He was after winning a 4 miler in the meantime as well.
Right.
And that's, I suppose, that's where I got attached to the horse, was by doing all that schooling on him and then winning the cross-country race on him in 2018.
Right, what was that like?
Oh, it was brilliant, yeah.
Well, tell us, how much of the day do you actually remember?
Oh, the whole lot, yeah, because I had to lose 6 pounds that morning to ride him, so I won't forget that anyway.
How did you do it?
I just running and sweating, but...
You were running about 50 miles a week at that time, weren't you?
Yeah, it would have been, yeah. But it was brilliant, like, just to get a winner in Cheltenham.
Are you not knackered by the time the race comes around? Are you not like, oh my God, this race, when's it going to be over? I need some food.
Yeah, I know, you don't be like adrenaline and that kick in, like, and you'd be
Especially
grand.
Cheltenham.
Yeah, especially Cheltenham, and you grow up dreaming of riding in Cheltenham, let alone riding a winner in Cheltenham.
Was this your first race, riding
No,
in
I had
Cheltenham?
rode in Cheltenham a good few times. Was my first winner in Cheltenham.
Okay, right. And you must have known going into it that, so, what, was it about 8 to 1 or?
Yeah, he was around that.
Yeah, I'd say we probably fancied him more weeks before, and then the ground started going a bit soft, and we were a bit unsure about the soft ground, but thankfully he went on it.
So what pressure do you feel under? Or what's that like when you haven't had a Cheltenham winner and you know this horse has a chance and you've been over to Cheltenham to school him on these fences? So like everybody's like, listen, he's got a chance here, come on, kids.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't feel much pressure like it. I wouldn't call it pressure, but you nearly just want
excitement.
Excitement, like yeah. That's why you do all the running. That's why you do everything, is to ride on big days like that. Like so, yeah.
And so tell us about the rest of the day. Did you have any other rides?
That year, no, I didn't. I just had him that year.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's all coming down to this one moment, and you're on the start line at Cheltenham. What can you hear?
I suppose you don't hear a whole lot because you're just in the zone. Like, you're just trying to get a nice position and making sure that you get a good position in the race.
Right. And in that race, because it's so long, like it's not like you have, I'm going to go up there and I'm going to do this one thing for the next 16 minutes or however long it takes. It's like it's a long out race. So what is your strategy?
I suppose he was after running over them in December, said to say, of 2017, and he jumped a bit careful and he was a bit sticky over them. So we knew we'd ride him handier and get him jumping and get him travelling, and rode him kind of third or fourth the whole way, and he was jumping a lot quicker when I was taking him back. Everything was in his comfort zone, and like it couldn't have went much better.
Right.
If you'd asked me to go out in certain points in the race what position I'd want to be in, I was in them.
You'd have pinpointed
that.
that.
Like everything happened so easy.
That race itself, then, how does it compare to you in terms of a buzz compared to a conventional chase?
Well, obviously I grew up hunting all my life, like, so I love jumping.
So a particular video of you actually just coming out over a gate and hoping that there was no traffic on the road there the other day.
Yeah, that's the horse to go if he can hear the cars coming.
Anyway,
yeah. But that's like it. I grew up hunting and all that, so like to kind of win a cross country race probably needs more, the type of way. Like I love all that.
I'd say it's an unreal buzz. Like, I remember talking to Carberry and he seemed to prefer that more than race riding. In ways,
Yeah, in ways I would probably get more of a buzz out of hunting than riding a winner sometimes. Obviously, riding a winner in Cheltenham is completely different, but there would be days where I'd go hunting and I'd be on a much better buzz. I would be coming home than if I rode a winner.
Yeah. I was Into the West was on at Christmas, and there was a hunt on when they were trying to evade the hunt, but it did show just do you know generally what's coming up, or is it kind of half random what you're jumping coming up?
You never know really.
You just
what's
don't know.
Next. No, like, other people would look and say, how do you get a buzz out of hunting? But it's bred into you, it's born into you. I grew up hunting all my life, and that's just been bred into me, whereas someone else might get a buzz out of something else and I'd be like, oh, why do you get a buzz out of that? The type of way, like, it's just...
And it revives horses as well. Some horses just get they get sweet again.
Yeah, out of it they do, yeah.
Is that a thing, yeah?
Absolutely, yeah. It's just change the scenery and stuff and do something different when their mind's a bit gone. I think horses do get fed up like the rest of us doing the same thing over and over,
Back to the race, right? It's going really well for you early on. Are you feeling confident at that stage? When you say, I'm in the zone, so obviously everything's going well. When do you start thinking, this is going exactly how I need it to be? You said looking back, I'd be able to pinpoint I'm in the right place there, but in the race, what are you feeling?
I remember jumping the hedge behind the big screen. I think you were about 8 or 9 left to jump at that point, and I remember he was just going so easy that I just kept saying, I just try not to get there too soon. But when the canal turn was bypassed the first year, and when we bypassed that, just 3 hedges across the side before you come onto the racecourse proper, he was just like lightning over the 3 of them, and he just pulled his way to the front.
So he's already getting to the front, and you're like, I'm going to sit back a little bit here. And at that stage, are you thinking, well, look, I'm going to let him go here because these guys are starting to wind up a bit?
Yeah, you know, and I jumped to second last. I kind of said, I may just let him on now. And I knew, I never looked behind, but I knew there was a horse close enough to me. And I got in under the last little bit, but when I landed, nothing was going to get by me.
Right. And how, I don't remember how much you won it by in the end.
I think 2.5, 3 lengths.
Okay, it's close enough.
Yeah.
Like, there's definitely
one
there's a
hand
sound behind
enough.
you.
Yeah.
And the immediate aftermath of that, the sound of that crowd surely gets into you at that point. You're like, I can hear that now.
When we're chatting.
Yeah, sure. From and everyone coming up saying well done to you and all, and it's a brilliant feeling. Like you wouldn't mind getting it every day anyway.
Yeah, I presume that is a bit of a drug.
It is, definitely it is, yeah.
There are some jockeys that won winners. McCoy be all winners, and I'd say other jockeys just the run of the mill stuff mightn't do it for them as much. But Cheltenham is just completely different. Like
Yeah, it's completely different. Like the situation I'm in with my weight and all that, I'm never going to ride loads of winners each season. I'm never going to, and I'd happily just ride 4 winners a year if they were good winners instead of actually riding a normal run of the.
how hard is the weight situation then?
It is tough. It's a constant battle. Like it's always on your mind. It's not like I'm 6 foot. Like so, I'm never going to have it fully under control. But when you have horses like Tiger Roll to ride, it makes it a bit easier.
What would your diet be the week of racing?
Just I have a good routine. I know what to do now. If you can just eat three healthy meals and drink plenty of water and do plenty of running, and
That's not too bad.
no,
Yeah.
it isn't too bad. Like, but I'd still always have 5 or 6 pounds to lose.
Yeah.
On race day.
Yeah.
That's eventually that's going to like make you feel a bit like a horse that needs to go out hunting, right?
Yeah, it does. That's why I probably don't ride that much in the summer, where I just give my body a chance, because you do become ran down from it, like you do, and it's more probably mentally tough than physically tough sometimes.
And so are you full time then in the yard? Like that's your main gig.
Yeah.
And that's where you build up the relationship with the horses.
Yeah,
Like Tiger Roll, for example.
yeah.
What's he like then?
He's different. He's very, very confident horse. He's he knows he's good. When he's starting to come to form, come March and April, he'd be bucking and plunging, and he'd be knocking rails down on the gallops, and he probably would never be a great workhorse, but you just know by him if he was in good form.
General wellness, like.
Yeah.
What does he feel like now?
He is coming, but we know he's not there yet.
Yeah.
He is coming though, but obviously not getting him away and a few things like that. Probably just hasn't lit him fully up, but he schooled in that this morning, and he was very awake after it now.
Would there just be a worry on Sunday that the ground is so bad that if he did run, it's a tough, it's a very good race, and if he did run Midland like that, it wouldn't stand to him in terms of his general confidence, or would it matter?
I don't. Probably there is that chance. Yeah, taking that chance, like, and you never know until he gets back onto the track how he is going to perform. Like, and he has come in and out of form before, so you just don't know. But
it's a serious race, just looking at it. It's a proper test.
It is with Magic, with Light, with Durasso,
Kilfenor and all that.
Yeah. Penn Hill. Like, there's a lot of depth in it. Like, there definitely is. And I think if you could, even if you finished 5th,
Has a nice run round. Like,
just showed a little bit of spark, that we'd be happy with that. Like, he doesn't have to win.
25-1, and he ramped home last year. That was it was a big win last year, wasn't it?
It was the same race, yeah.
But that was incredible.
Won
because
by many lengths, didn't he?
It was kind of like everyone said he'd no chance. He wouldn't be fit enough to win that race, and like in hindsight, his price was crazy. But I think on the exchanges he was about 60-1, and he absolutely bolted up. But like, I'd be amazed if he won on Sunday, because there's so much going on in the race, and like people shouldn't underestimate that he did have not a serious injury, but he had an injury that has kept him. He chipped a bone, wasn't it?
Bone in his joint, yeah.
Yeah, and that entailed then that he had to. What was he in his box for, like 3 weeks or something?
Yeah, 3 weeks or a month, yeah, and then he was only back walking for. He's only back riding now since the 1st of January, like. So it is only 5, 6 weeks, is it?
Yeah.
obviously he had a bit done before that, but he wasn't near fit.
Yeah.
Obviously, you want to win in Cheltenham because that's why you go to Cheltenham, and such an amazing record around Cheltenham. But if this year, is there any way that Cheltenham's about getting fit for the Grand National, or do you think by the time this is the race to get fit for the next race, as opposed to, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, there's no getting fit for the Grand National. Like Cheltenham and Aintree there is 2 days. They're going to be the main days, and like he's still 4 weeks to Cheltenham. So we know he'll be coming. He'll be like the race on Sunday is going to bring him on some amount.
Right. When you said earlier on, winning 2 Grand Nationals would have to take something out of him, and we'll only find out when he gets back to the track. You'll only find out when you get back to Aintree, or will you find out that because it hasn't so far, it hasn't seemed to take a lick out of him?
Yeah, you could find out on Sunday, or you could find out in Cheltenham. You know, if he's not sparking, and like if he's not sparking on Sunday or in Cheltenham, it's probably doubtful that he'd go for a Grand National. You know, that type of way, but. Like he's not showing any signs of him not sparking. There should be no problem there.
Staying chasing is an awful, like it's rigorous, it's very tough on horses. Like you see, when Denman won the Gold Cup, he's never the same again. And you see, staying chasers, it's hard for them to maintain their form. Like as much as he makes it look easy, the Grand National, I mean, it must take an awful lot out of a horse to do that the way he does it.
It has to, yeah. And even like the cross country race, like I know he won by 22 lengths last year, but like,
it's still 4 miles. Yeah,
3 mile 6. It's still tough going. And
he's very willing, like you know. So
and he's only a small horse as well. Like.
Our guest this week is Keith Donoghue. You're listening to Friday Night Racing. Maybe you're watching us on YouTube or on offtheball.com. Friday Night Racing brought to you by Horse Racing Ireland. Love every racing moment. Visit hri.ie, or you can follow the Twitter account at HRI Racing and the hashtag if you want to upload some photographs or check whatever anybody else is doing. Every racing moment is the hashtag for that. Last year then at Cheltenham was a different scenario because there was a lot of pressure. It was short price, Grand National winner. Was that a different experience? Were you more mature? Did you take in more of the occasion?
Yeah, I'd say I enjoyed it a lot better last year.
Did you? Yeah.
Yeah, a lot better because my weight was better as well. I woke up, I only had to lose, I think, a pound and a half to ride him.
Happy
it was
days.
a lot more enjoyable.
That's a transformative.
I was actually on a good run of it. He was after winning the Boyne Hurdle. We knew he was absolutely flying. I'd say I was probably never as confident going out in a race like
right.
Yeah,
which is mad considering the obstacles in your way in a race like that.
Like I knew, literally, like it's easy. I know it's easy to say it now, but like he was literally a certainty. Like you know that type of way.
How did the run of the race go?
Keith's a good judge as well. He doesn't say that very often.
Right. How did the run of the race go? What was different?
Exact same again. Just perfect run around. But he's probably just that little bit better than some of the horses in that cross country, that he can just travel easier and he jumps them fences so quick. You have to be quick through them, the hedges. You can't waste any time in the air, and that's what he's very good at.
You're a marked combination, obviously, when you are the defending champion and people are like, okay, just follow him around now, and if you're able to travel with him and when he goes, you go. Like, that's what everybody else is thinking in the race. You're obviously not thinking that because you're the cream of that race. So does that change your tactics at all in any way?
No, like I jumped off last year and I wanted to kind of ride him third or fourth, but over the first couple I was probably 6th or 7th. And he jumped to second, third a little bit careful, and I was a small bit worried. And I remember jumping the canal turn and Mark Enright jumped up my inside and I pulled him out to the left and I was kind of like, you need to wake up a bit here now. And I remember giving him a slap after, I think it was after jumping 4, and that's not like him. I was a little bit worried early on, and this I just winged one hedge and he just came alive. And after that, I knew then it was...
What does winged one hedge mean?
Just jumped really quick, like jumped really well, yeah. Yeah, and he just came alive under me then.
Right, so that's your horsemanship in the middle of it to realise I need to change something here.
Yeah.
There's a slight risk as well. You can be pissing off a horse if you're doing that early in a race, you know, because there's a long way to go. But obviously he was probably just a little bit maybe a bit confident within himself, just.
Yeah, I think
going through the motions. Maybe.
Going through the motions a bit, yeah.
What's the buzz like around having a 2-time Grand National winner? Hopefully, fingers crossed, all things being equal, going back to... I know the Elliott Yard has so much success year after year after year now for the last number of years. It's just been this juggernaut through Irish racing, and so the big days come and they keep coming. But this is like absolutely a global sports story. We're going to have a horse bidding for a 3 in a row that has never been done in the 150 years or whatever it is that the Grand National is running. That's special.
Like the publicity he's getting for even just running this weekend. So like you imagine if he runs this weekend, runs well and wins in Cheltenham, like the publicity he's going to get going into Aintree, then it'll just be phenomenal, I'd say. Like in the ad, we probably take it for granted because you're just seeing him every day.
Yeah.
Every lot you go out on, you're walking by him because that's where his stable is. Whereas like we nearly take it for. I don't mean to take it for granted, but
And I suppose actually you can't get too excited because it's actually quite far away. But like, you know, if you were to spool forward, and again, all things being well, but that week's going to be class. That week at the Grand National is going to be amazing.
yeah, probably not for me. I won't be riding them.
It's at the same time, it's great. I think it's great for racing, like to have that. You know, racing gets knocked a lot in the British press for this or that, and it's going to struggle a bit. You can't always guarantee race cars will be in the paper. They're not in every, but I think everyone is latching on to Tiger Roll.
Yeah, sure. I'd say even if you're not into racing or you've never seen a race, everybody knows the name Tiger Roll. Definitely know the name Tiger Roll, like, and he's probably is great for the sport, like.
It's funny, like he's not the most talented horse in the yard by
a
long way.
I'd say, you know, and don't mean like that.
That's not disrespectful. It's just he's particularly suited to the Grand National, and he's an amazing horse. So that's the funny thing about him being around Elliott's. He's not like he's not the Ibrahimovic or the Ronaldo, I suppose. I say that because it was actually a photo of the two of them in the paper. It's come into my head. But you know what I mean? He's more like the left back or whatever, but he's very well liked.
Andy Robertson.
But the only thing about Tiger Roll, though, is he thinks he's better than everybody else. He's a very confident. If he probably does like a bit of Ronaldo about him, like there's a bit of class, there's a bit of swagger about him, like
The yard is kind of like the yard must be mad. The lads that are there, the amount of talent you have riding out, and even former jockeys like Shane McCann and all them lads. It must be a great team.
Yeah, there's brilliant staff. Like there's a lot of lads like Simon McGonigal, Cosy McGibbon, Shane McCann, Joey Elliott. They've all been there from the start, like, and you know, other people come and go, but the main lads have always been there.
I genuinely think with Gordon, as much as his achievements are down to him, I think his team is massive. It's kind of like saying he's a great manager. Like Alex Ferguson was a great manager, but he did have the players, and I think his team is massively important. Might have more of a and his ability to be able to delegate responsibility because he can trust them implicitly.
Yeah, like if Gordon's there or not, like we all know what we're doing in there. It's all routine, and like whether he's there or not, nothing's done any different. Yeah. He probably just slows us down a little bit, you know, that type of way. But like, there's nothing done any different if he's there or not there. Yeah. And that's the trust he has with, you know, the lads that he's close to.
What I like most about it is the fact that none of you get ahead of yourselves. Like if Jack Kennedy were going unreal well, or Lisa O'Neill had won her at Cheltenham, you go into the yard, they're the same as the person mucking out. There's absolutely no airs of grace about them, and they're just part of the team. They go in, they work, and that's it.
Yeah. But that's it. Like realistically, everybody's the same. You know, you have to respect everybody the same. So there's no point getting ahead of yourself, especially not in racing.
Obviously, Davy Russell rides him in the Grand National. Is it hard not to be riding him in the Grand National? And kind of obviously you want to be.
Well,
do the weight.
You see, the first year that he went for the Grand National, he only had 10:13, and I'd done 11:4 on him in the cross country race, and I had £6 to lose that morning to ride him. Right. So if that was the Grand National, I would have had. £11 to lose, and it's just not physically possible. I wouldn't have done 10:13. Like obviously, I would have loved to be riding them, and you know that is obviously, you know, people say, "Oh, did it bother you?" So you wouldn't be human if it didn't bother you. You know, the type of it's a Grand National, like. But you know, last year I took it well enough. I was happy enough I knew Cheltenham was going to be my day. Yeah. And I got a bonus by winning the Boyne Hurdle on him, and I knew that the National was always going to be Davy's day on him.
Yeah. Is there no way you could do a lesser weight? Like, have you talked to all the nutritionists in the world and the dietitians and gone...
Oh, don't you worry. What do you want me to do? Cut my leg off or something?
Well, no, like, I mean...
He's 6 foot.
Yeah, that's
the problem, yeah. Because in fairness, you have gone through the mill, like you've... Oh, yeah. You've tried probably quite a few things.
When I was 20, I broke my femur and I went up to 13 stone when I was 20. It's just, like, there's other people that's 6 foot and they're 10 stone, 10.5 stone.
And they're fine,
but everybody's body's different, and I'd be a stocky enough built, and I'd say I've probably heavy bones as well. Like, and
right. You should probably be 14 or 15 stone. Like.
I probably should, yeah. And like if I look at food, I'd put on weight, you know, that type of way.
Tell me about it. I know. I feel your pain.
Well, you're trying to do something with that swimming thing, aren't you?
There you go. 30 days yet, but the race is never run. I'm just like, if you were to go vegetarian or something, have you tried all that kind of stuff?
No, I do like food as well. You have to live a bit as well. Yeah, there's a lot more to life as well.
Absolutely.
It's true. So what else is going on in the yard at the moment apart from Tiger Roll?
This is where the real chat gets interesting now. There's real stars in the yard.
I suppose just start to you know, a few horses that didn't run at the Dublin Race Festival and that, like, you know, the good horses for Cheltenham. So a few of them kind of done a bit of work this morning. So we just start to get them in tip-top form for Cheltenham now. Like everything's just leaning towards Cheltenham now.
Abacadabras.
Yeah, he's
All
going
good.
All good, yeah.
And he was the most obvious. I suppose him and Envoy Allen were the two obvious ones that missed.
Yeah, well, like Abracadabras was after having 4 runs.
Yeah.
He didn't need to have another run. And like Envoy Allen, the same. So what more could he do? He didn't need to prove anything. And no matter what, even if he got, I don't think he will get beaten Cheltenham. But if he did, he's still only going to be a horse over a fence. Like, so there's no point in rushing him.
You were making interesting comments about his trip that you wouldn't be at all worried about in terms of his natural pace for sort of 2 miles and that.
Oh yeah, Envoy Allen he could win the Supreme or the Albert Bartlett. He's just
the same day.
Well, probably. I know, but like he's just, you know, he just has it all.
Yeah, it's exciting. Like, and to think that they've obviously Ballyadam coming on Sunday, and then Malone Road injured as well. They've some talent at Cheeley Park.
He must have heard a bit about Ballyadam, didn't he?
No comment. But he's obviously 7-1 with the Shelton bumper or whatever. So what's he like as well? He was a big, expensive store purchase. Or expensive ex-pointer, rather.
Yeah. No, he seems to work well, but obviously...
Come on, Keith, no. He seems to work well. 7-1 for the champion bumper, he hasn't even run yet.
Well, I rode him in a bit of work a few weeks ago, and a horse beat him by 3 or 4 lengths in it, and then he went out and got beaten.
He
went out and got beaten a bumper, so I don't know. But he wasn't fit back then.
I think probably 330 grand or something like that.
He was, yeah. No,
they put the money down, but they're buying on real talent.
Yeah, like Ballyadam does look exciting, but if he's going to have to win impressively on Sunday to be going to win a champion bumper.
He's very short.
He is very short.
Appreciated looks very, very good.
Like. He is, but he does work well.
Anything else you want to pump for information there?
It has to be Sam Crow. I mean, he looked like the bee's knees when Keith Donoghue rode him in Down Royal. Because I was working this out today. In terms of when you go to Cheltenham and say if you have a good anti-post bet, and Sam Crow was a good anti-post winner for me. It was like the last proper good Cheltenham winner I've had. It was a really good win, but I'd backed Sam Crow all year. But I was then thinking, like, you went there with so much confidence that Sam Crow was going to win the race, but Sam Crow has won 1 race since then, if I'm right. He's won 1 race, and that was his beginner's chase. When I think we were here that day. It was a Friday. Yeah, it was the Friday down Royal. I remember we were recording at the time, and I don't know where could you start with him.
I don't know. Like, there's plenty of different ways where you can look at Sam Crow. Like, you can look at, was his form good enough?
Yeah.
Was the horse that he beat in the
Supreme?
No, it wasn't the Supreme.
The Neptune, rather.
Neptune. Yeah. Roger Buckhouse's horse, wasn't it?
Summerhill Boy.
Like, then when you look at, he only beat Paloma Blue in Leopardstown, who's running the handicap chases now. There's different faults. Like, you wonder, was he hyped up way too much?
Probably.
Could have been. You can state this case.
You're giving him grief there. There was shade. He didn't even appreciate. Was he hyped up too much by people like in the media who'd backed him from?
But then he is winning though. Like,
there was the reputation and what he was doing at home.
Yeah, what he's doing, like his.
I still think I'd give him the benefit of the doubt at Limerick, because I think Sam Crow did an awful lot right in that race. The ground was atrocious. Like, at the end of the race, he could barely jump the last.
Yeah, I don't think it was the same Sam Crow going into Limerick as it was, say, going into Down Royal or going into the Drinmore. I know he fell in the Drinmore, but I don't think it was the same Sam Crow.
Mentally, has he changed at home in that you can imagine as a horse your confidence does go a bit when you've had, like, he's had a succession of 1 win in nearly 2 years now.
Yeah, I'd say his work probably in the last year and a half hasn't been as good as it was when he was a novice hurdler. Whether there's better horses, whatever that's down to, I don't know.
What's he like now?
He'd actually done a bit of work this morning, and Shane McCann, who rides him every day, said he's very happy with him. Like, so I don't know if he's going to go to Cheltenham or not, but
whatever race he runs in at Cheltenham, I'm still going to back him. Like, so.
Yeah, like if Sam Crow came back and won in Cheltenham, I wouldn't be one bit surprised.
Yeah,
not one bit surprised. You know, but there is that case where you can say, was he overhyped? You know,
how does Envoy?
I think horses get hyped up so much now over nothing. I think, you know, social media, everything just hyped them up to be the next best thing. Like,
there is that definitely, and Envoy Allen is in that category already.
Envoy Allen is in that category.
He's worth it, obviously.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Except in that case, it's legitimate. Last question about Tiger Roll then for now. Was there disappointment in the yard when the weights were announced, or did you kind of expect that it was going to be what it was in the end?
I'd say he was always going to have top weight, wasn't he? I know, like, he has more weight than a Gold Cup winner, and Tiger Roll, obviously, I don't think he'd win a Gold Cup, but has Nate with the same form in the last 2 years as when he won the Gold Cup. I don't think he has, like, and they haven't seen Tiger Roll since he won the Nationals, so I think it's kind of fair enough.
It's asking an awful lot, though, £11 on last year. I think it's, whether it's right or wrong, I do think people don't realise how tough it's going to be to carry top weight.
Right.
Like, it's not, like Burrow's saying, for example, who's 7 years of age, Irish national winner, trained for the race, he's going to have to give him a stone.
We were chatting with Tom Malone during the week, and I was asking the question, and you can probably answer this or give us your view on it. Is there like a slight Brexit element to this whole thing post the relationship between?
I don't think so, really. To be honest, I really did not like Phil Smith, the former handicapper. I hated his way of going about things. His, the kind of arrogance that he would come out with to explain a mark when, like, as much as the Irish handicapper will make a mark that just you can't really make sense of it, but like he would give horses marks that, like, he would give horses marks that look way too high, and then suspiciously horses would be kept out of races by marks that were too low. And for me, he was handicapping connections. Now, Phil Smith would argue it was his team, but I've spoken to the head of Dominic Gardner-Hill. I spoke to him last Friday just to give a background to it, and Martin Greenwood, I think, is the handicapper who looked after the Grand National. Like, there was no messing. It was kind of like the referee who you don't really see in the match that's done a good job. They explained it. Like, Tiger Roll, he bolted up in the race last year, let's be honest. So he gave him £11. You don't really compress horses that are entry Grand National horses. You compress horses like Native River or a horse like that. I think he should have compressed Delta Work a bit more, because Delta Work should be encouraged to come into the race. He's not going to run the race, but I think he should be more like Tiger Roll. Isn't really a horse for compression. It's not the handicapper's job to make it as possible as it can be for Tiger Roll to create history. That's not his job. And like the two Irish trainers,
it's not his job, but it's also a little bit. I mean, you can't just work in a vacuum. This is show business, baby. This is entertainment.
It is. They compress them, but
then, is it fair on everybody else if you're just letting Tiger Roll in just for the history, for the crowd?
Well,
absolutely.
Like, it's not fair on.
Aren't there degrees of fairness? Like £1, not great. £4, probably too fair. £2. £3.
Yeah, I know. It wouldn't have been, but I don't really see that's going to make an awful lot of difference in that he's going to have top weight.
What do you think?
To be honest, people are asking me about the Grand National weights. I didn't look at them a whole lot, because once I seen he'd top weight and Gordon's and Delta Work's not going to run in, and his next one was 10 stone 13. I knew I wouldn't be riding in the race, so I didn't even pay much attention to it at all. I'm not going to lie.
But like, in fact, like, you have to call Eddie O'Leary out in this, like, in that he did say, we have a mark on our head, and if he doesn't give that, and like £1 to me, everything Eddie said, even yesterday he said he was a very doubtful runner, and today he's running. So I mean, there's an element of mischief about it, but
come on, you call him out, you praise him surely for adding a little bit of theatre to the announcement of the weights.
Maybe it's theatre, but Eddie wouldn't suggest that he's in the business of theatre. Maybe that's more for his brother.
They are in the business.
I find it entertaining, but I don't think they can really argue now, and they've kind of backtracked quickly in that he is running the race seemingly. My worry would be he's going to have 11 stone 10, and we don't know what sort of shape he's in, because he hasn't run in ages, and I would slightly fear for how he'll run on that ground, because we've had an awful lot of rain. That ground is not going to suit on Sunday.
No, definitely not.
So that'll be my concern. But the race itself, I don't think people realise. To me, he's an awful price at 5 or 6 to 1. I think he's a lot to do to win that race of top weight.
Which one?
Tiger. Sorry, in the National. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I mean, no one should be betting on the Grand National just yet, unless you've got like a.
He's well in the cross country off 171.
Right.
Yeah. Even with my concern is how he'll run on Sunday.
Are you being sarcastic? I can't tell.
Yeah. No, it's a conditions race.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
He's level weights.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So what price is he for that?
I don't know, actually.
Yes, Johnny.
Yeah, I don't know. I honestly haven't looked at that race all year, but people should look at. There's all the chats about Tiger Roll, but there'll be 39 other horses in the race, and
all trying to beat him.
Ironically enough, some of them might be out of the handicap because he isn't as low as maybe he could be. So it's not all negative for his weight.
Okay, all right. Let's turn our attention to the weekend's racing then. And here is the read. It says, this is being nice, it's regression to the mean for the Tote Irish Injured Jockeys Charity Fund as it remains at €440 after the Willie Mullins trained Ciel de Neige could only manage second last weekend in Newbury's Betfair Hurdle.
Jeez, like that's unbelievable. Like that's saying Sinn Féin had a terrible election because like they're not in power. I mean, Ciel de Neige was 12-1 on Friday when I tipped him. He was beaten ahead or something like that.
Not back him each way. You know, that not
And he'd be all or nothing.
like,
obviously we didn't, yeah. But there were 5 places. If you backed him in the race, you got a great run for your money. It was God, it was a sickener. He was beaten by a 33-1 shot.
all right.
Anyway.
Super racing this weekend as Gowran Park hosts the Red Mills race day tomorrow, while Sunday obviously sees the return of Tiger Roll in the Boyne Hurdle at Navan. Cross Channel, the highest rated jumper in the UK, Surname, will start a warm order favourite for the Ascot Chase tomorrow afternoon. New Tote customers can get up to €50 cash back for opening a new account. See the tote.com website for more details. Loads of good racing to go through. Let's start with Saturday in Gowran. The Red Mills Trial Hurdle goes to post. I don't have time for that one, sorry.
We don't have time for that.
1:44 it starts.
The Red Mill, these are the new kind of race times. They do actually look more like dog racing times, but they're trying to fit in races properly and not have delays and all that. I think it's actually a good idea, but Darasso and Silius Emery, I mean, cracking race. I have to say, I have real sympathy for Gowran because the Yesterday's day you couldn't see anything. It was clouded and fog, and tomorrow the
Forecast not great.
not good at all. I think the race meet might go ahead. I don't know if you've heard, Keith, but the conditions won't be spectator friendly for what is in some ways is nearly their biggest day of the year in ways because they've 2 proper good hurdle entry. The Chase is a cracker, and like it's desperate bad luck considering generally over the last sort of even 2 years we haven't had really bad weather that often in Ireland. Gowran they've been unlucky, but hopefully it goes ahead. Darasso has to give Silius Emery £7, but I wouldn't be surprised. I'm a massive fan of that horse.
Okay. Then at 2:54 in Gowran Park as well, it's the Red Mills Chase. 7 runners in this: Real Steel 11-8, Chris's Dream 3-1, Shattered Love 6-1, Snow Falcon 7, Kaiser Black 8, Death Duty 10-1, and Tout est permis.
Yeah, I hadn't seen the betting for this. I think that's crazy pricing. I'd probably it's Chris's Dream favourite. He's actually 11-4 against Real Steel. Beat Footpad last year. Footpad's now gone off to America. I don't think Footpad ran his race. I mean, he was very tired jumping the last, and Real Steel beat him, but no way would I have him that price. Well, I think Chris's Dream should be favourite, or at least very, very close. It's a great bet at 11-4 if you can get anything like that.
All right.
I'd take a bit of 10-1 on Death Duty there, I would.
Actually, that's interesting now, because he was, going back to the Albert Bartlett of 2017, 2016, hot favourite in the race. 2017 rather, then went chasing, beaten on his comeback, but...
Yeah, he ran in
the Galmoy.
Yeah, and like he missed 2 years, did he? Year and a half, yeah. Obviously that day, Stephen's day in Leopardstown, he ran in Leopardstown over 2 mile, and he was just on top of his head again. Footpad, was it?
Yeah.
And he fell at the last, and he got injured. And
you forget these races quickly as well, like
you
that.
do, yeah.
That was a big race at the time.
Like if he came back to his form at all, a bit of heavy ground is what he needs. 2.5 mile.
And he's getting weight.
He could be dodgy. He done a good bit of work during the week. It was the first time I'd seen a bit of spark back in him.
Listen to the man.
All right. So Death Duty around about 10-1 if that hopefully race goes ahead at Gowran. Will we talk about Ascot and what's going on there?
You mentioned Surname. Hasn't been seen since running the King George when... I thought his Ascot run, I thought he was flattered because Altior ran very flat that day, but he didn't do much wrong in Kempton. I don't think he's an out-and-out 3-miler. Taking on Riders in the Storm, who's... must be the best Scorpion nearly in training now, with Might Bite kind of disappointing. But he's really tried for Nigel Twiston-Davies. Every time I hear him, I just want to put on The Doors. Genuinely, that song I can't get out of my head for the day.
Give us
but
a
I
blast.
think, well,
Go on.
do 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 do. Riders on the Storm, and so on. So on. Anyway, he probably won't beat Surname, will he?
I'd say he'd struggle, really.
Yeah, and
If the proper Surname turns up.
yeah, and no reason to think he won't.
Okay, Surname 5-2 on at the moment. Riders in the Storm about 3-1. There's another race there at Ascot. It goes to post at 1:50. The Sodexo Reynoldstown Novices Chase. Pim at 9-4. Sam Brown 5-2. Copperhead 3-1. Danny Whizbang 13-2. Two for Gold 13-2. And Alsa Mix 25 to 1.
Yeah, incredible run for 2 for gold. Pim has absolutely thrived as well. Stowaway horse won very easy last time. He stays very well. Probably be my margin favourite. Classy enough renewal of the race. I'm not sure if any of these will be good enough to win RSA Chase. But on that note, actually, Battle Over the Iron. What happened?
That's another
Mystery.
I think I wouldn't call it a mystery either. Another one of these overhyped horses. You look at his form. He won a bumper. I know he won it well. He won a maiden hurdle well. He won a Grade 1 in Naas over hurdles. Don't know how strong the form was.
Yeah.
Went to Cheltenham and disappointed. Came back this year. Fell in a beginner's chase in Galway. Fell in
riding that day.
Yeah. Fell in Punchestown.
Yeah. Looked like he might be idling.
Yeah. Got nearly a walkover in a Leopardstown and got into a proper race and got beat.
I do like listening to this. It's like
I love this thing of hyping horses. Drives me mad. He's a very, very good horse.
He's some jumper, actually.
You wouldn't get a better jumper than him. But like, he's been talked up as if he's the next best thing. Like.
Yeah, I can see why. If you list off like wins a bumper.
Yeah, he wasn't bolting up. Like he wasn't. In fairness, there was a bit of he was hyped. Yeah. There's no doubt.
Right. But you've just said he's a great jumper, so it's easy.
He is
all the accoutrements of a hype are right there. It's like
he's slow though, probably as well.
Well, that doesn't help.
At that, like he's at the level of trying to beat the likes of Faugheen. Maybe who was obviously a champion hurdle winner. Maybe he just doesn't have the gears.
Yeah, but if he's slow, he'd keep going. He was fading out of that race. You know, that type
yeah,
way.
Maybe he didn't go quick enough. I don't know. I thought he was better than that. Anyway.
Yeah.
Navan, let's talk Navan. The Boyne hurdle, Ladbrokes Ireland Boyne hurdle goes to post at 10 to 2 on Sunday. Again, hopefully everything goes to plan. Durasso 5 to 2, Tiger Roll 11 to 4 at the moment, Penhill 5 to 1, Kilfenora 5 to 1, Bacassan 6 to 1, Magical Light 13 to 2. Kilta Vic 16 to 1 and a couple of others as well. So
I'll obviously leave this to Keith, but I wouldn't imagine Durasso will run unless Goran is called off. But this was obviously an obvious choice because Goran might be called off, and I think Durasso or Kilfenora, I think one of them will win, essentially.
Yeah, obviously Kilfenora is coming out of handicaps, isn't he, into a graded race, but he's after winning last three, is it?
Yeah,
last
he won.
Three,
he beat Alpha Mix and 18 lengths back to third.
Yeah, the Navan last day, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. There is a lot of depth in that Boyne hurdle, like with Kilfenora. Obviously, Durasso will probably run tomorrow if Goran is on. Then you have Penhill. He was probably second to Benny the Dude last day, but there was no second.
No, I don't think he's the horse he was for some reason. Anyway.
I think Kilfenora is probably the one. Like, if Tiger Roll needs to run.
how do you want the race to go? When you're looking at this field, what are you thinking about in terms of how they like to run and how much analysis and assessment?
Yeah, I'd never be one to read into form or tactics of horses too much. A lot of people do read into it and get into the whole lot of it, but I'd be kind of more of a man to just get up and let it be. I think I could probably, I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing, I probably learned that from Paul Carberry, you know, like but everything is different. Like, I wouldn't read into it a whole lot. Like, I know what I'm going to do, you know, probably give him a bit of a chance and just have him riding him to come home, and whether that's good enough to win or not.
Yeah.
You did model yourself from Paul Carberry in many ways.
Or since I was a child, I've modeled myself from Paul Carberry.
I don't think people appreciate the loss that he is to the game. Like, it's just the most run-of-the-mill days racing. He'll just light it up doing something genius. Like, I don't think I'll ever see anyone like him, actually.
No, there's no, like, you'll never ever get a horseman like him again. What I've seen him doing on horses at home and things like that, like, it's just phenomenal.
What kind of stuff?
It's just, like, it's hard to even explain. Like the man just makes everything look so easy, you know, everything's just so natural to him. Like, it's unreal.
I know there was obviously debate about the best jockey ever, but most naturally talented jockey, I'd never seen anything like it.
Yeah. Like, Paul didn't want to ride thousands of winners like Tony Mackay, or he didn't probably have the horses that Ruby Walsh had to ride. So, you know, that type of way. And, like, if he wanted to do all that, he'd have been better than all of them.
Yeah. I remember when he rode a horse called Loyal Focus in the maiden hurdle for Dermot Weld, and he missed the last and looked like he was kind of almost pulling the horse up, and then he nudged him and got him up to win literally on the bridle by a short head in a photo finish of the line. Can you imagine at 2 miles an hour at speed you're going? He got up and everyone was like, "Paul, what were you doing?" He said, Dermot said to get there late. Like he literally, I can't find that video anymore because it's gone off the archive. But to me, it's one of the most astonishing rides ever. He literally nudged him up to get up by about that on the bridle. If you get that wrong, like you're banned for whatever. Like, but Carberry's just like, gosh, it was an early on a Saturday. Have a bit of crack. Genius, absolute genius.
Last race we're talking about, 4 o'clock at Navan on Sunday, the 10 up novice chase. Have you picked a tip yet?
No, actually, I actually haven't. But Keith's Elwood and Milan native.
Yeah, both of them would probably have to improve a little bit. Elwood won a beginner's chase in Thurles the last day. Milan native is yet to win over fences. It's an open race without kind of one of the 7 or 6 that's standing out.
I thought that was a fair bit weaker than the hurdle race on the day. Speakeasy's interesting as well. At the fall the last day.
Captain CJ could be the one there.
Train not that far from you.
Give us your tip.
Bumper and going.
Huh?
Go to the bumper and going.
Okay. That's actually, I do have a tip, but
well, if we have some,
we go with Johnny's.
No,
absolutely
not. The fact that he's not going with the bumper in Navan when they've.
Sure, you're after talking this thing up to win the champion bumper, so it's going to be no price on Sunday.
One of the best horses of all time. No, I'm going to go with his odds. That's Ballyadam. But let's go back to Gorn, because Keith is a good judge. The Ronan Lawler, this race actually should just be mentioned. Ronan Lawler was a young lad riding at Pat Fahey's yard who basically died in a tragic work incident. So I think we should definitely remember him. It was horrible tough for the yard. He was riding a horse that bolted or something and just lost his life at a desperately young age. So it's lovely to see that he's remembered. That's the 4:39. Actually, interesting. Yeah, I'm intrigued, Keith.
What are you picking first?
Do you even know? I don't think you even have a run. Oh, you do. Sorry, Queensbrook.
Yeah. You don't need to know anymore.
Is that the tip?
Yeah.
Sorry. No. That's interesting now because that race isn't too bad. Kylie's horse in it, Elizabeth J has nice form, and Willie's a horse will definitely be favourite in the morning. So don't need to say any more.
Right, Queensbrook in the bumper in Gorn on Saturday.
Yeah, Scirocco.
Keith, it's been great having you in. Best of luck this weekend and best of luck over the next. It's going to be a pretty exciting couple of months.
Yeah, well, a month till Cheltenham for me, so if we can just get a nice run into Tiger Roll Sunday and getting back to Cheltenham, that'll be brilliant.
How long do you have riding left, do you think, in terms of doing the weight in that?
I don't know. I'd like to keep going for another good few years anyway, but obviously see what my body lets me do. Like, it's obviously as I get older, it is probably going to get harder. But we'll keep going and see.
Best of luck.
That's all we can do.
Yeah. Another Friday night racing in the books for you here on Off the Ball, brought to you by Horse Racing Ireland. Love every racing moment. Visit hri.ie. We'll see you next week.
Friday night racing
on Off the Ball.
brought to you by Horse Racing Ireland. Love every racing moment. Visit hri.ie.